You're the best. You're the best. Oh, look at you. You're like a little Pop-Tart. She just pops right on up there like a little popper. Popper, popper, to the Popperville, USA. You're the mayor of Popperville. You're so pretty. You're so cute. This is my funny. This is do me a Siri. I don't want to even listen to you in a Siri. Oh, look at that long old nail. I gotta trim it. She says, don't do it right now. Go do your talk. Go do your talk right now. She's so pretty. She's a good girl. I love you. You're so cheeky. You're my cheeky little monkey girl. Just the cutest girl. I can't help how cute you are. You got the little white face. You get in the little white face. You're so sweet and you're so smart and they're funny too. Look at the little white face, girl. You're a little cute. She's like, why do you always gotta make it weird? This is poor dog. This is what they deal with all day long. They put up with me loving on their mom. He's a girl. You're such a good girl. You're such a good girl. You're such a cute. I love you so much. The goodest girl. You like that? Show them how pretty you are. Look, she has dimples. Her face is getting white because she's getting older. And she's got dimples because she smiles real big. I don't even know if they could see that. It's all dark in here. Hi, welcome to my tube. My name is Marge. I'm a Hayok empath. I just like having these little talks on the way I feel about things. I just had to clear my energy field. It was real iffy if I was gonna do a talk tonight, because really some days I can't stand the sound of my own voice. I don't want to hear myself talk. I would rather just say nothing. If it weren't for Mom and me having to correct the talk, I would probably go. I could go a few days without talking to another human being. It used to be. It wasn't too long that I could go weeks. I could go weeks without ever opening my mouth and talking to another human being if I didn't do these talks. Thank goodness I do these talks, because I would probably be really irritable and discontent if I didn't do these talks. So, anyway, spiritual spit. That's what I called today's talk. I knew this next wave of new age stuff was going to make my third eye twitch. And it's so funny because I'm right. I mean, there's so many of these things that like, I've been tracking the stars since I was a little girl. I had my first, Mom had my first birth chart done on parchment paper. I remember seeing it, Ma, when it was all laid out on the table. You know it? It was like, I don't know, it was big. Well, I was smaller too, but I just remember like it rolled out and they're like, that's you. And I was just like, ooh, you know. And then I was very young. I was probably 3 years old when I saw it laid out on a table. For is in San Luis Obispo, I believe. In a big old white house on a hill. Anyway. She don't know. And then we would go down to the docks when we lived in Morro Bay. Same age, 3-4 years old. And I'd go around asking all the captains of the ships if they, like how they fared that day. You catch a lot, and sometimes they let us on their boats
and we could see how much fish they got. And we'd like, I'd sit there and I'd watch them offload it and like, all that stuff. I love production. I love watching how stuff done. Just how the world operates has always intrigued me. And how people operate, it's always confused me. So, the captains of the ship would talk about the stars and how they navigate using the stars. And then astrology, I always looked at it the same way, that they use the stars to navigate too. It's the same thing. One's energy, one's, tangible. Etherically tangible. Well, I got, stars. I don't know. I don't think anybody's ever touched a star. So does somebody have to touch something for it to be real? Or to be touched something to understand that it's real? Anyway, I got all annoyed. I have to excuse myself in a lot of chats these days. Because it's just like, I'm not going to gripe about what they're talking about. It's their channel. That's lame. I just I hate sports. I can't stand sports. They're the greatest freaking life suck. I mean, people like ruin their lives because all of their time and effort, and they think they're living their lives by, I mean, I know a guy, he is the head of a tailgate party, the football fan club in the town I grew up in Reading. And his favorite football team, he's the head, the president of the 49er fan club. And I'm like, I was in desperate need for a place to live. And nobody would help me that I knew. And then I'd watch him do this fucking bullshit. Tailgate. I'm like, dude, you know what I mean? It's like people, that's why the cracks of society get wider, because people, honestly, they don't care about other people. They just like getting paid for saying things like, I care. Everybody's going around talking about their spiritual warriors. They're spiritual warriors. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't ever remember running into you before on my path. Yeah, and it's like, spiritual warrior, hey, why don't you go over there and help that old lady change her tire? Oh, no! I could never get my hands dirty. You gonna give that old lady that needs help over there with her tire that needs change, you gonna stand there and give her all your thoughts? And you gonna give her all your prayers? Huh? Yeah, that's what's gonna fix the world. Thoughts and prayers. Just, Whatever happened to the foot prayers? Whatever happened to taking action? Doing stuff, I was just listening to Robert Phoenix. I can't, and it's like, I like the guy, it's like, I just can't, there's so many people that are doing talks these days, astrologers and otherwise, that it's like the people they talk about, I don't give a crap about. I don't care about that Tate guy. I'm like, what has he done for another human being? He listed all those cars he has and all that stuff that he has, and, he likes beating people up. None of this stuff is what God intended. None of it, He does his Illuminati BS, all that club, that bro club crap, and it's like, what have you ever done for somebody to help, like, make their life better? It always comes down to that to me. What has somebody done for other people that can't do anything for themselves? And most people do nothing. It's ridiculous how withholding and selfish and gluttonous and piggish, and it's ridiculous. Yep. So they're perpetuating the dub 3, the dub capital I storyline. When I was in the Air Force, somebody that died in combat, it was like 200,000. So if you have a loved one in the military, I wonder what the going rate is these days. I tell people all the time, don't let someone you love enlist in the military. If you love somebody, don't let them enlist in the military. If you love your children, give them all of the other freaking options besides the BS military all branches, unless they're a slacker, because then they'll fit right in. That's why I could only do 6, man. I had too much ambition for that lazy fucking God, man. So gross. So gross. What happened to this country? What happened to the people? And then what the people allowed. It's just a bunch of people that don't have practical skills running around a big old stage, playing with people's lives every day. People are starting to get mad. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing it? Seeing the wave of collective BS where more and more people cannot hold their emotions. They have so many emotions, they will not be able to contain them. And then you give them guns and knives and things like that. Heck, they don't even need that. I'm seeing reports of young girls, freaking dousing people with flammable liquids and then trying to light them on fire. Thankfully, it didn't work. I think that was up in South Dakota, man. People are just nutty. So I don't know. You still have those that just keep going out to their concerts and their coliseums, and they're just, their dance clubs, and they're just all living their best versions of their lives. And I'm just like, what the? There's mass shooting. It's not that world anymore. People are like, well, you're not going to live in fear. Ignorance isn't bliss, man. I mean, there's people just dropping dead, and then people just add to the stats by just, putting themselves in harm's way. And then it's hilarity. And then, where I live in New Mexico, there's freaking homeless people all over the place. I moved here from Oregon, there's homeless people all over the place. When I lived in Omaha, I didn't see that many homeless people, but I think they, kept them cleared out. I worked in a building called the Landmark building right downtown Omaha. We had the 11th and 13th floors, the company that I worked in. I had to go back and forth between the two. I was IT tech support, and ultimately we condensed to the one floor. We still had access to the other, so I'd always go to the empty floor and go into the nice, and take pictures from the empty floor. So I got a lot of really cool pictures of the skylines of Omaha and stuff like that. The Leahy Mall, which I think they've already teared it up and redone it once, and now they're doing it again. And then I got prime. I mean, it's prime real estate, man. You could see the TD Ameritrade Park, baseball park, where they have their human energy harvesting ritual where they bring people in from all over the country and put them right there, and the young men play their college frickin' World Series baseball BS, and it just, dude, what if there was a storyline that came out that our energy charges the grid, that would be hilarity to me. And then all the money that they just use for freaking their bunkers, their in underground bunkers, and just more nonsense and all their weird, scientific freaking experiments that they've been doing for years and years. But they say, no, that doesn't happen, I don't believe anything any freaking government freaking at any level says, because they don't none of them ever think for themselves. Every single one of them answers to somebody else. And those people, the people like that are dangerous. People that don't think for themselves, they're very, very dangerous. So, things are going to get interesting. Things are going to get real, real interesting. It already is, man. I can't believe the way the human race is slowed to a stroll. It's just bizarre. It's just gross. But it's just, we could have heaven on earth. It just doesn't even make any sense. It's like people just have just done what they're told to a point that they just don't even know how to think. And what's entertaining? What is the stuff that people are drawn to? All the false for profits. All of it. It's all a distraction to keep people from helping other people and making things. It's all of it. All of it is a distraction. If you're watching football, you ain't out there helping the old lady mow her lawn or changing the oil in her car. If that whole sport thing is perpetuated, it goes all the way down to kids like 3-4 years old starting at T-ball. Put them in sports. It's just like, it's a whole industry. And if they aren't athletically inclined, then put them in the military. Let them go kill people. It ain't good to kill people. And then here, we celebrate it. Go over there and kill them, that, they. Kill them, that, they. Freedom. Oh, yay, freedom. It's like, you guys don't even know what you're talking about. You're saying what the freaking guy next to you said. You really want us to go to countries that we have no business being in, killing people, men, women, children? That we're just going to Costco, the equivalency of going to Costco in their country, and then, oh shit, USA, B-1 bombers, boom, boom, boom. These people didn't do nothing. But you know what? Every single person that got deployed, they all got extra pay. Their paychecks were extra big. And if you went to certain areas, you got tax-free. You didn't have to get paid taxes because you were in a dangerous area that we created. So they could all make money. It's always about money. It's never about freedom. When I was in the Air Force 20 years ago, they had us doing exercises, playing military war. One of these exercises, I actually died. I was a casualty of war. And that is kind of a surreal thing for them to put you on a gurney, for them to put a toe tag on you, and for you to lay there in a pretend morgue for a couple hours until somebody comes up and says it's okay for you to go. That's the shit that they have you do. It's bullshit. I could only do 6. I couldn't stand the swinging dicks and their who's in charge and how they feel that day. But they're total fucking scumbags, man. They talk about their rules and regulations and their UCMJ. Here's a story I like to tell every now and again about a musician that I used to like named John Denver when I was a little girl. His dad was evidently a high-ranking Air Force officer. Real important guy. Just ask him. He'll tell you how important he is. They all do. Dumbasses. Can't even fucking change a tire, but they're really fucking important. So when Johnny went out to California and decided he didn't want to live under his father's rule anymore, so he was going to go out and make music. What did his dad do? He takes a jet and flies out to California to get his son. There's so many laws. There's so many. You can't. It's not a rental car. But these guys, they don't care. They do what they want. They always have. And then they're protected behind the guise of it's military intelligence. Dude, military intelligence is a motherfucking oxymoron. There's no such thing as military intelligence, dude. All of it. It's all freaking misappropriate. They're all little clubs, and if they don't like somebody, then they go after that person. And then they go in there, and then they see all the stuff that they did wrong, and they dredge it all up. That's why I openly talk about all the crap I do in my life right here. You can't dig nothing up from me. I talk about it on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. You got these freaking machismos. You know, it is, and it's just all to create cognitive dissonance. I mean, when I was in, it was at the end of the Don't Ask, Don't Tell, but I had somebody call me up like 7:00 at night, and and this is blah, 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 I'm calling from the special force. They call themselves the special forces, the security police. They're freaking dumbasses, dude. They're the second lowest test score in the military entrance exam. They like them nice and dumb. People that are nice and dumb are easier to manipulate and control. They don't want smart freaking, And they used to break our shit all the time. They used to break our equipment. These ducts that were used to plug into the aircraft, we would have to bring these guys. Now they always got the new cars and stuff like that because they're the pigs. They're the resource hogs. They get the new stuff first. So we're maintenance. We got it last. So they get the new cars and and they have their all their cold weather gear and their heaters, but that wasn't enough. We had to bring them out heater aircraft. Heaters that were for the aircraft. My friend he maintained the heaters and he would just get, he was just like, what are you going to do? But these ducts that went on them, they're like freaking $15,000. They squish down and then they clamp, but they freaking unravel to be really long. And then they hook up to the aircraft and the heat blows into the aircraft because when the heat's on the ground, those planes will get cold. And the crew chiefs, they can't get cold. Oh dear, not the crew chiefs. Don't let the crew chiefs get cold. Freaking prima donnas everywhere. Oh God, as long as 6 years of my life. So these guys would fucking stomp on the ends of the duct so they could just crack the windows and blow the aircraft heaters into their car. And they would get it so hot in there, then they just sleep. That's what police do. The majority of them. Yeah, sure. Every now and again you find one that's good. But how good are they when they're surrounded by so many scumbags and they never do anything about it? How good can they possibly be, all these good cops? They're surrounded by scumbags. You're seeing it every day. They're fucking raping kids. They're doing all this they're beating people up. They're out of control. They can't control themselves. They got ego complexes and don't you know who I am? Or they're really mad because they got so fat their wives don't want to fuck them anymore and their kids don't listen to them. So they don't have control, so they go out on the streets and they're like, I'm going to take control out here. and they don't have control over themselves. What if there's mandatory meditation for frickin' police? What if they had to have a spiritual practice and a physical practice? You know? Because Lord knows they don't fucking go to college. Lord knows they just have a high school diploma, and then they do a fucking couple years in the military, then go back and work in their local cop shop. It's going to be fun, folks. It's going to be real fun. Yeah, I'm pretty much staying inside. You're from the Netherlands? Yeah, people are welcome, Nina. People are crazy. And I miss this. I wasn't there. I came right after it happened, but I live in Taos, New Mexico, northern New Mexico. And because I will not tolerate, people can yell at each other, they can scream at each other, that fine, whatever, you know. Then the other, you know, if you say something that you can't take back, then the other person can decide for themselves if they want to continue knowing you. You know, there's a lot to be told, but don't put hands on people, right? And I was at the park, and I just came after, and it was like a car pulled up. Alcohol was involved, I'm sure, because freaking probably 60% or higher even drank around here. I mean, there's just booze everywhere. I mean, there's just the demons have got the people in Taos. And so, evidently, they like get out. She gets out. He's like, get back in the car, bitch. She's like, no, I'm not going with you. He goes around to her side, like grabs her by the neck. I would have interjected already by then, right? Because no hands, you know. And I don't have enough sense to not stay out of stuff. Then old girl freaking takes out a freaking knife from her pocket and stabs old boy in the chest. You know, and he's like, oh shit, she just stabbed me. You know, and all this happened right before I just shut. And then like she gets back in the car, he gets back in the car, and they drive off. And it was pure comedy because I guess they kept like going to different places in town. And neither of them like, because somebody said, I'm going to call an ambulance. And they're like, no ambulance. Because nobody wants to deal with all that stuff. And so it's like they would be in a part of town. You'd hear the paramedics going to one part of town. You hear them pass by and go. So like they couldn't find these people. It's like Laurel and Hardy, the Three Stooges, all that stuff. Just all. Yeah, people are ruining everything, man. People are ruining everything. The truck's gone. I laid down this afternoon to do like a discipline and wasn't really a meditate stay. I just needed to clear my energy, and when I got up from that to do my next round of chores, the truck was gone. So it had been broke down there about 3 days, and we're just having those days that it's one day is just like the next. It's we don't have a lot of weather. It's chilly, but we're getting at 40 during the day, so we can have the windows open a little bit for about an hour, get some fresh air in here. And I got to take Tucker to the vet tomorrow at 11. Get him all ready and set for his dental. We got to make an appointment. So it's just, you know, and none of this stuff is like, I mean, there's so much. I just don't deal with stress very well like I used to, you know, and I just, all day today, I was just like, man, if I had a friend, I'd just call him up and be like, hey, man, you want to come over and hang out and watch some TV? I'll make some dinner and you can hang out with me and Mom. I just get lonely in real life. I think a lot of people get lonely in real life. You know? I don't know. I'm starting to. It's like it goes back and forth with like the people that have. I mean, and it's just like, and it makes me more lonely knowing that I have people I'm related to that do all kinds of fun things and do all that stuff that I would love to do and Mom would love to do. We just aren't welcome to be a part of that family, and it hurts. And what happens in a lot of times I've been paying attention my whole life, trying to be careful, because I've gotten my feelings hurt a lot in my life because I haven't been included a lot, and it hurts my feelings. And a lot of times when I get my feelings hurt, I don't want to be vulnerable and be like my feelings are hurt. No, it's just easier to get mad and be like fuck you, You guys suck anyway. No, I don't do that. I just say I get my feelings hurt because I get my feelings hurt. I keep trying though. I met a few people from having this tube. I'm over 2K now. I saw, so I've done over 2K videos. Can't break 1,000. There's been a couple years out of the 5-6 years I've been doing this. There's been a couple that I'm like, I'll think about. Well, maybe I'll get 1,000 by my birthday. There's been 2 birthdays that I've done that. Nope. I used to get my hopes up a lot because I used to imagine and I used to, this is how it's gonna play out and this is how it's gonna be, and it took a lot of years for me to learn how to stay grounded and to recognize what's realistic and what's not. I don't have any earth in my chart. I gotta work harder to be grounded. It's a challenge for me. It's not easy. So, I dance a lot though. I like dancing in the kitchen. I dance it out. My friend Whitney, I sent her a message today. I haven't talked to her in years. It was on Facebook. I don't even know if she goes on there anymore. It's just in Messenger. And I was like, thanks for teaching me how to dance it out. Because she used to go under her room and just blare the music. And I know she just, I'm like, she'd dance it out. And, I don't know, exercise is so important for clarity. To get your blood moving. People don't. I hate exercising too. People always made me. I always had to. You do it. My life. I wonder what my life would be if I could have lived for it for just me. But I didn't do a very good job. I got like DUIs when I lived for it my way. I got 2 of them. One as a civilian in Sacramento, and then one on Offutt Air Force Base. And I still didn't get sober until like 8 or 9 months later after that. And I was sober 14 years, and then I jumped off the wagon. Let it drive into a ditch. I pulled it out 7 months later when I had another moment of clarity that this life isn't just for me. That nobody would take care of Ma. Which people they really just don't care about people. I mean, I've seen it a lot. The way I've heard people, talk about people and stuff, and I'm just like, and people wonder why. They know that a lot of us know that how insignificant we are, that the world, it doesn't matter if we're on it or not. And that's kind of sad. I mean, yeah, everyone, sure, I guess has I don't know. I was born to 2 people that didn't even like each other. I mean, they got divorced before. The whole thing is weird. I never wanted to freaking do all this. I feel like life has always been more of an assignment for me. Like a test. Like, everything was a test. Even when I was a kid, Mom would talk about everything being a test. God's going to test you. You're testing you. Better, live right. I'm autistic, so I took that to extremes, and I always had a stomach ache trying to do the right thing. But then I grew up, and I learned how to decipher and do things that are right for me, and a lot of things that are right for me are not acceptable by society standards, so I'm no longer a part. So this is where I connect, and for those that stop through every now and again and connect with me, I'm grateful for that. I am. Because if I didn't, I'd be really lonely. I'd be real lonely. I'm not a big reader. My imagination was always so big that I didn't want to read something that contradicted my beliefs, so... Anyway, and plus a lot of the stuff a lot of the ideas, information, data, it's just, frequencies that are out there floating around. All I got to do is freaking tune in. It saves a lot of time. That's why I believe in like osmosis and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm one of those energy weirdos. I feel like I'm a little extra qualified though. My background, I got a scientific background. I'm in IT. I was in the Air Force. I was a mechanic. But we had to study. We had a lot of tests on electronic principles and things like that. Because you got to learn a lot about electricity because you don't want to get electrocuted on the flight line. So, and I've been electrocuted when I was like 8 or 9. I touched an electric fence and completed the circuit. So. That was the first time I do believe that was the meet cute. No, because that was after. Or my meet cute to my guardian angel. Because I had like 3 or 4 near-death experiences before I was 12 years old. So Mom always said that there was a reason for my life. I just don't know what it is yet. Tomorrow's another day, and maybe that'll be the day I figure it out. That's what I got for now.